Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, we're getting closer and closer and closer to first ice. Of course, we already have first ice. You know, if you look at the upper region, I guess you would call it, of Black Lake, if you leave Ogdensburg and head down the Black Lake Road, and once you start looking at the lake until you get to Edwardsville, that's really freezing. But first ice, you know, we talk about first ice and why it's better. Well, I'm going to give you some reasons why first ice can be some of the best ice fishing. Number one, the water isn't as cold yet under that first ice as it's going to be in a couple months. The fish are going to be more active. They still got more energy in them since they're cold-blooded animals, and they haven't been fished yet either. So you have a lot of opportunities that will be some of the best of the whole wintertime at first ice. But, you know, I recently went to see my buddy Mike Bean. And Mike is, he's a specialist in ice fishing as well as bass fishing. And Mike gave me some of the things that he thought would be best for giving recommendations to you about early fishing. And one of those is that you can start by using, and we're talking about fishing crappies. You can start by using a 13 Fishing. Now, 13 Fishing is the name of a company. And he told me that Chapman's on Black Lake has a lot of these baits in stock. But by using, it's called a paralyzer and a coconut crab. Don't ask me why the names are what they are. But these are little soft plastic creatures. I mean, really small, that he said can be excellent for crappie fishing. You know, because that's one of the things, if you really haven't been into this, you don't know how to start, what to use. You can use live minnows. You can do a lot of things. But a lot of the seasoned ice fishermen, they don't use live bait. They might tip them with tiny little spikes or grubs. But Mike says he really doesn't. And then he said what happens is if he starts catching a whole lot of little fish or the bluegills really start bugging him, then he will switch. And this is another company now. It's called Euro Tackle. I hadn't even heard of that company. But it's got a bait or a lure. It's called a Z Viber. A Z as in zebra, Viber. It's hard on the radio sometimes to understand phonetics. But anyway, this is a blade bite, like we talk about sonars and baits like that. But this is little. This is a little bitty thing. And you can use either a single hook or a treble hook. And I said to Mike, what do you prefer? He says a treble hook. Now, we're talking about crappie fishing. And, of course, if you catch good ones, you're probably going to keep them and eat them because they're wonderful eating. But this is sort of a tip to get you started this year in ice fishing. Number one, first ice can be great. And that whole area I've told you about, Black Lake, there's less water, less depth, there's less movement there. So this part of the lake will freeze first, but it's still, you know, it still isn't ready for you to go out on there. You know, we talk about the inches of ice. 3 inches is considered the minimum for safe ice to begin to just walk out there and fish. Not to be driving vehicles or doing anything else. But remember, you know, there's so many variables to what the safety of ice is going to be. Is it covered in snow? What is the clarity or type of water underneath it? Is there a current underneath it? Or is the water we're talking about subject to ups and downs? In other words, are the inputs of water systems coming in going to raise or lower that water over a short period of time? And every time that water level changes, the structure and the strength of the ice is going to change, especially next to shore. A lot of things to think about, but we got a whole season ahead of us, and each week I'll try to bring you more tips. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.